Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
2 in the box. Ready to go.
We be fast.
Maybe slow.
Cool.
I don't know, bro. I have some khaki shorts that are stretchy. They are super comfortable.
Chris, you and I do not wear shorts that are not stretchy. You and I only go with stretchy shorts.
Old Navy. Old Navy has the stretchy shorts.
All right.
They're amazing.
All right.
I'm going there right now.
And the stretchy jeans, too.
And we're recording. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where we like to talk, debate, and argue over your top 4, Mount Rushmore, if you will, of your favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject is our favorite female-led bands. Starting, I am Nary Science with this amazing panel. We have David Ulloa.
Howdy.
And we have Daniel DeBona.
What's up, y'all?
And then we have Chris coming back, a friend of the podcast, been here a few times already, more than a few times. Say hi, Chris.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, you saluting me in an audio forum does nothing to the audio forum. Just want to put that out there.
We're doing video, so it's weird. So I forget that it's just recording.
So,
Chris,
speaking of which, I got to
the podcast like 4 more times. You get a last name.
Nice.
you get that hole punched in your
like
punch card. Yeah.
All right. We're doing best female-led bands, and it's kind of weird that we don't have at least one female in this conversation. But look,
Girls is gonna be pissed.
I got boobs, so I don't know. Maybe that's enough.
I just came from the hospital, and my estrogen levels are through the roof.
Are they really through the roof?
It'd
be great.
No.
It'd be fantastic if they were. And this is my story. All right, so it's been a bit for us recording. I know for the listeners, we kind of haven't missed a beat. We missed last week, but we missed 2 weeks ago. But that's just because of I forgot to post it because we had one in the can. So we actually haven't physically recorded in like 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a month, right? Something like that. Because we had so many in the can that we just were like, whatever. So a little rusty. Got to knock the rust off for us over here. But I am happy to say that I lost count of it. But last year, in 2019, Geekmore put out a total of 12 episodes. I want to say, was it 12 or 15 episodes? Something like that. Something around those numbers.
I think you said it was 12.
Yeah, 12 episodes throughout the whole year because we had a really bad November and December. And this year alone, we're up to like 15 or 16 episodes already. So, wow. Thank you, Rona. Anyways, how did you guys come up with your list? David, let's start with you. How did you come up with your list?
All right, so I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was not able to devote an awful lot of time this week to this. This was the last week that I was teaching summer school, so I had to cram a whole bunch of grades in there. This is also the last week of a class that I'm currently taking. So I had a lot of work to do for that class. And I just came back from the hospital where I was tested for coronavirus. So basically at the hospital, I was like, you know what? Time for me to sit down and start thinking about this fucking list. So thankfully it took 4 hours to get tested and I was able to devote some time. And so that's how I did it. I sat on my phone and I made a list. And I went on Google and I was like, yeah, no, I already have all these people on my list. And then I just ordered them.
So I'm guessing that by the lack of results, you haven't told us anything. I'm guessing you don't have the Rona.
Well, I won't know for another couple of days, but my lungs are good. So
that's good.
There's that.
But now you got that chip implanted in your sinuses that are going to activate with the 5G.
With the 5G, yeah. But you know what? It's a risk you got to take.
Oh, you know what it is, guys? The notifications. You know why the sound is coming out? Because of the laptop that I have hooked up to the sound to the mixer as well. Because we were talking about this to the listener. We were talking about this off air. I was like, there's so many notifications coming in. I never get the sound when we start recording the podcast, and I thought it was from my phone because I'm zooming from my phone. It turns out that it's from the Let me just close out Facebook, and then that should take care of that, right?
They should if they're Facebook notifications, yeah.
Yeah, they're Facebook notifications. So, all right. There you go. Debona, how did you come up with your list? Were you also getting tested for a deadly virus?
No. I started off with just a really big list of bands that I love with female leads, and the list just kept getting bigger, and I just kept thinking of more and more. And man, I finally just went with bands that their music has meant a lot to me, that I can think of a lot of memorable and songs that I'll still belt in my car. And I've got one on here that's super weird. They didn't do a lot of music, but what they did was really influential on me personally. And the rest, man, are just solid heavy hitters. But I could have done this genre specific. I ended up going, it's mostly rock, but I mean, I could do a whole nother one if we were just looking at metal bands. Man, I love a good chick that can rock, dude. This one was a lot of fun.
All right, Chris, how did you do it?
I wasn't that enthusiastic about it.
My gimmick.
I usually stick to a specific set of music. I'm not very versatile when it comes to that. I'm usually listening to Johnny Cash or like Elvis or some along those lines. So I had to do a little research on it, and also I've never really been able to match the song with the band. Like, I can't listen to a song and be like, oh, that's, I don't know, Metallica, or that's, on the big ones, Guns N' Roses, you can tell, But
by the way, just so we're clear, that there's no female singers in Metallica or Guns N' Roses.
They have long hair, bro.
Okay.
They have long hair. All of a sudden, we're not going to count that.
From behind.
Yeah. I mean, Guns N' Roses wore a hell of a lot of makeup back in the day, and Axl's got a high register. But,
dude, I had Motley Crue on my list at first, and I was like, oh, wait.
Those are four of the most beautiful men in rock and roll.
Dude looks like a lady. That's a song, right? Not for nothing.
Yeah, it's about Vince Neil.
Oh, I know. I know. That was a question that when I worked the Vince Neil Motley Crue, we were not allowed to bring that up.
Oh wow.
That was like, do not bring up the fact that dude looks like a lady was about Vince. And I was like, what? Well, I just learned that piece of information, and I'm a comedian, so this is on you, really.
I've been blind to that. There's 100% chance it wouldn't have come up.
Correct. Anyways, look, I'm going to be completely honest. Most of the bands on this list for me, because we clarified, and I guess we had to make it that it was bands, not groups, not singing groups. That we had made that distinction. It can't be singing group, like female-led singing groups. And I was like, oh, all right. Most of my knowledge from female-led music are singing groups, not bands. So not that I didn't have any knowledge in the bands, but the music the bands that I chose don't have like an extensive list of like hits. They're not going to be like, and this band had 72 number one. Like, I'm not the bands that I know, I'm like, dude, they had 2 amazing songs that I really fucking love, and I'll rock the fuck out of them to this day, but they're going to be in that kind of genre. I think my number one had 3 hits that I could vouch, that I could tell you off the top of my head, and then my number 2 had like 4. And then everybody else had like, I don't know, one album, one good album. Like, album that I know of, again. So that's my thing. This is really bothering me, guys.
Are you like actively recording onto the laptop?
No. I only use the laptop to swap out the sound effects. That's the only thing I use. But it really is annoying the fucking bejesus out of me. Yeah, and I don't know. Hold on. I don't even know how to take that setting off where it's like, I don't want notifications, motherfucker.
I don't want no phone notification.
Mark all
that wasn't a girl band, no?
No, I'm sorry.
Speaking of dudes looking like ladies, have you ever heard the guys from Metallica talk about like going to the Whiskey a Go-Go and like throwing rocks and like catcalling and like taunting the guys from hair metal bands?
I've never heard them talk about
they talk about how they would like go down there like, oh, we hated those dudes, their makeup and their heels. He was like, we'd go and wait behind the place, like throw rocks at them or catcall them.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, man,
all right.
The San Francisco Bay thrash scene was definitely not like the hair metal scene of the Sunset Strip.
Right.
All right. So, with that said, let's go on to our...
With the 4th pick.
Number 4.
Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crap. Let's get it on.
All right. So, number 4. David, what do we got for number 4, man?
All right. My number 4 is a band that, were it not for how incredibly iconic and long-lasting, and just like the sheer catalog of work that my numbers 1, 2, and 3 had, this band would be higher because on a list of personal favorites, this band is really high up there. Not just female-led bands, but just like all bands. It's a band from the early 2000s called the Donnas.
Oh, dude, I love the Donnas.
They had, I think it was like 2 albums, but they had one major hit. It was a huge hit back in like maybe 2002, 2003, called "Take It Off."
I was just Shake It Off, as I was going to say, but yeah,
it was called "Take It Off," and oh my God, those girls can rock so hard. I mean, amazing musicians, all of them. But that singer channels this like raw, like English blues rock mixed with Southern rock, like a Lynyrd Skynyrd, Molly Hatchet type vibe. And they do it so well. They do it with so much style. And
they got
it came at this time in...
They got pasas, They got a little pasas.
Yeah. It came at a time when rock and roll was starting to kind of get a lot of these throwback bands like the Vines and the Strokes and stuff like that, and they came around and they kind of took it back to like the 70s hard rock, and they just they channeled another band that I'm sure is going to come up, but I got a lot of vibes from a 70s band. Yeah, and actually, that other band that may come up, it was a lot like that. It was that sort of like young, like teenage angst, but it wasn't punk. There was definitely like a punk rock attitude, but it was more of like an early 70s hard rock than it was like a late 70s punk. I love this band so much, and I didn't even go back and listen to any of their stuff when I was thinking about this list, because I've heard those 2 albums, but that first album in particular so often. It's
Spend the Night.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
the name of that album.
It had this awesome album cover where it's just the four of them in pajamas, and it looks like they're having a sleepover, and it looks like so cute and innocent. And then you listen to the music, and it's so much fucking attitude.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect this much attitude from these really innocent looking girls, and wow, just fucking impressive. I'm still impressed by the music today. It's got this like raw, unproduced quality to it, which is really difficult to do well, because you can very easily overproduce something. We were talking about the glam rock bands, that's very overproduced music, and it's really difficult to make something that is not that clean and that polished sound bad. And this finds that perfect spot where it's just the right amount of polish and clean up, and really the attitude and the grit is what's driving it. So the Donnas, number 4.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Donnas too is when they came on the scene with Spend the Night, they females in music at the time were Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and stuff like that, and they just came out in just t-shirts and flare jeans and put on a rock show. Yeah, and it was great.
It was actually no, they had more than that.
Oh,
that was their 5th album. That was their 5th album.
Yeah, the Donnas came out in '93.
I take all of that back.
The Donnas came out in '93. That's what Wikipedia says. So I sound smart.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, but
Chris.
You'd recognize Take It Off if you heard it, though. Like in the early 2000s, it was on like every teen movie soundtrack.
In that case,
I guarantee you'd recognize the song.
Yeah, you would. You have to have heard it. I mean, it was huge.
Don't yell at me, bro.
This is like when we had to convince him that he had heard Been Caught Stealing.
You've heard of this? Like, all right. Are you playing it or something? Because
he's trying. We're not getting much of that, Dave.
We're not getting any of that. Nothing. We're getting 0 of that. All right, that's all right, dude. I believe you. I've heard it. It's right. All right. So the Donnas, DeBono, what do we got?
My number 4 is a band that I'm not going to claim I was into when they were first out, as evidenced by the fact that I was born in '83 and their main years of production were '80 to '83. They were not around that long, but in '80 to '83, they released 4 albums in that it was a 4-year span, counting 1980. Just amazing punk rock band called the Plasmatics. And the Plasmatics had a lead singer named Wendy O. Williams. And I'm not offended if nobody has heard of the Plasmatics, but they were this incredible, like, metal punk rock fusion thing in the early 80s that I discovered much later in my life. But Wendy Williams was like the female Gigi Allen without the covering herself and shit. Like Wendy O would do anything and everything.
Is it Wendy
stage.
Williams or Wendy O? Because you keep saying 2 different things.
Wendy O. Williams.
Okay.
She usually just went by Wendy O.
Because Wendy Williams is super annoying and awful.
Yes. No. Wendy O. Williams.
Okay. All right.
But she usually just Wendy O. is what she was normally known as. But she would be naked on stage. She would cut guitars in half with a chainsaw. They would have exploding equipment. I mean, she was a shock rocker in a band that was a punk band, but also in that element of what a lot of bands did when punk was evolving into just being about roots music. And it involved metal elements and occasionally like reggae and kind of rock element. And like rap elements. The Plasmatics were absolutely incredible. They released an album called Coup d'etat that is one of my favorite punk rock albums of all time. It was released 20 years later, and it was renamed. Coup de Grace or Coup de Gras, I guess. and they remastered it all to hell and back, and it does not sound as good as when it was Coup d'etat in '83. But one thing that you may actually know about the Plasmatics, I think it was there was some MTV show, I can't remember what it was, a long time ago, where one of their opening sequences would show a school bus driving through a wall of TVs and exploding. Does that image sound familiar at all to you?
No.
Yeah.
That is actually from a Plasmatics video where they literally they drove a bus through a wall of TVs and then blew it up. And the Plasmatics were just incredible. They from everything I've gone back and seen, Wendy O's not with us anymore. She committed suicide in '98, at least in punk rock style. She did it with a shotgun. So, it's their legacy on punk rock and the fact that women could literally do everything on stage a man could do is
and
undeniable.
off stage, because Kurt Cobain did the same thing. So.
Right,
on
exactly.
And off stage.
And so Wendy O was just she is like
to the listener. There's two people laughing but shaking their head, and they refuse to laugh on the microphone. And the boner refuses to acknowledge the fucking great joke because he's like, I'm just gonna plow through my fucking prepared statement. And so it just sounds like that fucking joke fell flat. But there's two of these motherfuckers that are laughing hard as fuck, shaking their head at me like if I'm at the fucking eulogy saying this. But all right, whatever. They're gonna ignore that. Go ahead.
But just shock rock aside, Wendy O actually was nominated for a Grammy for Best Female Vocal Performance. So it's not like she was just out there with no talent.
She wasn't Andrew Dice Clay. She was fucking. Right, she was actually. Right. She actually had some. Right. Yeah.
She was very good at what she did. She's. I mean. Like when I got into punk rock and like my aesthetic of kind of what I was looking for in chicks kind of changed, like going back and finding pictures of Wendy O, like she set the tone for so many things in style and music and just absolutely incredible. I highly recommend if you're a punk rock fan, you check out the Plasmatics. But the name of the band is the Plasmatics, and their female front woman is named Wendy O.
Mm-hmm.
She reminded me a lot of like a cross between Sid Vicious and Iggy Pop. Like she had that style on stage.
There we go, like a female Iggy Pop.
Didn't give a fuck. Like she was just doing the first thing that came to her mind with no filter. That's a great pick, dude.
Dude, it's just incredible. So yeah, the Plasmatics.
Great on. Chris, what do we got for number 4?
My number 4 is this may get tabled. Again, it's one of those where you like I've heard the song a lot, and then I was like, oh, that just sings it. And it's Fleetwood Mac.
Tabled.
Okay.
Tabled by other people.
Got it.
Okay. My number 4 is a band who epitomized like when you know that high school phase where you're like, oh, there's a couple songs out from your high school that you could pick out, like, and immediately when you hear them, it takes you all music. When you hear them, it takes you back to a place, right, mentally.
Right.
But their songs was my high school time, and it was like just certain songs where I'm like, oh, this was the shit. And it was a big deal for me.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. And fuck, I didn't put these guys on my list.
And it was a big deal for me because for a long time I was under the impression for myself, like it wasn't like anybody else told me or made me feel this way, but I thought that I only like hip hop, and I was like, I would even say, yeah, I don't like rock music. And they were like, well, okay. Like, people would be like, okay. And then I would hear certain songs and something would pop off. The first rock song I remember hearing that I was like, this song is a shit, is Enter Sandman. But that's not this group. This group specifically in high school Obviously, I'm giving a frame of reference as to where my mind was at this time. And the band
Sorry, it has nothing to do with what I'm about to tell you.
No, because that's a big deal. Like that's a big deal for a kid to be like, I only like hip hop, and then be like, hey, what about Enter Sandman? I'm like, all right, fuck you, that's a great song, but that's not for nothing. But the rest of
all the way around your elbow to get to your ass right now, man.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna take that as disrespect, bro. So my number 4 is the Cranberries.
Not who I thought you were gonna go with.
I didn't think you.
Just
Table.
Oh, okay, well, just barely gonna make it.
No, if you're gonna, sorry, was that rude? I apologize.
No, that's exactly what you're.
That's what you're supposed to do.
They were the last band I cut.
You're supposed to say table, and then it's supposed to stop the rest of us from talking, so it's supposed to save us time, recording time. Now, out of this explanation has therefore done the exact opposite of what table was supposed to do.
And I wasted the entire. Got it.
I love the fact that we're like, what was it supposed to do? What? We were supposed to what? All right, so the number 4s are the Donnas, Plasmatics, Fleetwood Mac, and the Cranberries. On to number 3.
Bro, that could be a number 1. That could be a number 1 round, and I would be fucking happy.
All right. Well, prepare to fucking shock your socks off, bro, because it's only gonna get better from here, my friend.
We got 3 more.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number.
All right.
Yes, it is.
This is your part, Neri, and you push the button.
Yeah, Neri, you're
What?
go.
What?
Yeah, there was nothing. You didn't push.
We're just waiting on you to push round 3.
I did. It played.
Oh, we didn't hear it.
We didn't hear it.
We
didn't hear it.
Literally, it was playing as you guys, and then you guys started talking. This is your part. I'm like, what the fuck? Let's just finish. Let it finish. Like it literally played.
Oh, we did not
We didn't hear it.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Did you get? Hold on.
Round 3.
3
Now.
is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right. So number 3. I don't know what. I didn't do anything different. I moved the volume of it like a smidge up, but I did nothing different really. All right. So number 3, David. What do you got for number 3?
My number 3 is likely going to be tabled, and it is the Eurythmics.
Oh, God, such a good pick. Not table, honorable mention.
Okay. All right. So
I know how to spell it, but just spell it for these people because it's like they're idiots. But just I know how to spell it, but just spell it for the listener who wants to search like Eurythmics. Like just spell it for them.
That is THE.
They know how to spell the. The listener knows how to spell the.
Yeah. So it's THE Eurythmics.
Correct. All right. That's just want to make sure I had that right. Eurythmics. Every time I try to type up Eurythmics on my phone today while doing research, I go EU, and then Google was like, "We got it, bro. I know what you mean." I'm like, "Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God, Google." Yeah, thank God Google fucking spies on me and is like already knowing that I'm looking up bands because it's like, thank God I didn't have it. Eurythmics, great. I love them.
The Eurythmics. I mean that was a band where I didn't really know too much about them.
I didn't know they were a band. I didn't know they were actually a band because there's only 2 of them. Like you only ever see 2 of them.
Well, I mean, in actuality, it really is just the 2 of them. They tour with a band, but it's no different than like Tears for Fears or
you
or the
shut
White
your mouth
Stripes. You know,
about Tears for Fears, sir. You shut your fucking mouth. Don't you ever speak ill of Tears for Fears, man.
I am not. I am literally comparing them to another great new wave band. So I liked the Eurythmics. You know, I knew like a few of the hits, and then when I was in middle school, I want to say before new Saturday Night Live episodes would air, they would air reruns of Saturday Night Live. And they had aired a rerun from some time in the early 90s where Annie Lennox was doing her solo stuff. and I watched her perform, and I was like, oh my God, who the fuck is this? Because she's absolutely amazing. Like the amount of like passion and emotion that she could get through a microphone was absolutely incredible. And so they said the name afterwards. I was like, Annie Lennox, I gotta look this person up. And so
you went to the library. You got some microfiche.
So I went to the library.
You got some microfiche. You went out and you got some books. You read the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah. Well, so I went to Alta Vista, and
who is Annie Lennox?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I asked Alta Vista to take me to AskJeeves.com. And
that's funny.
And then I found out that she was like one half of the Eurythmics. I was like, oh shit! So then I started really getting into a lot of the Eurythmic stuff, and that's a band where they've had a number of hits that haven't really like lasted long on radio. Like everyone knows "Sweet Dreams." Everyone knows what's the one with rain in the title. I can't remember the name of the song now, but it's another really big one. And then there's a lot of songs that you really don't remember anymore. Here Comes the Rain Again. That's it. And then but you listen to the albums, and literally every song is fucking awesome.
Yeah, but don't I don't like the way you just like, oh yeah, everybody knows like Sweet Dreams. Like that's a fucking iconic song. Like that's like there's a reason why that song is a song. Like it's
but that's my point, is that like everyone remembers Sweet Dreams, but and it's difficult to be that band like when your song is that iconic, right? Like everyone wants to hear that, but you literally have like a library 10 years long of amazing music, and when you remember,
like they didn't have a lot of U.S. hits necessarily, but like they're in Britain, they were massive.
Mm-hmm.
I never mixed. Sorry, dude. I never mixed the bands with the song, so I didn't know that was what they sang.
You mean you never matched the bands with the songs?
That's what I meant to say. I mix them all together all the time.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I have the same thing. Like I have to be like one of those. There's a lot of times where I'm listening to a song even on the radio, even nowadays, even contemporary music, and I'm like, oh, I don't like. I like it. If I like the song, I like it no matter who it is, which is kind of backfired on me because there's been many times where I'm like, oh, I like Taylor Swift. It's fuck. Like, and it's one of those shits. Like I didn't know it was her. I would have had a closed mind had I fucking known it was her before I listened to it. But I heard the song before I knew who it was, and now
brother.
What?
Like I just figured out what Post Malone sings.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah, right.
He's great.
He's great.
He's awesome.
I mean, he looks like a doodle bear, but other than that, he's fucking.
He does. He looks like a total moron.
Yeah.
But he's a great.
Well, I didn't mean moron. I just meant doodle bear. Like back in the days in the '80s, there was a toy that you could doodle on. That you could like literally. It's a bear.
I remember. I had a doodle bear.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I got one when I broke my arm.
Oh, you got gifts when you broke your arm? Shit. My brother broke his arm, he got grounded. It's like, bitch, you ain't going nowhere. It's your fault. It's your fucking fault. I think our parents had a little bit different parenting, different parenting styles. You broke your arm, you're grounded. It's like, oh shit, that's a lot, man. That's big.
I understand the privilege of my upbringing.
All right,
but
so
that Annie Lennox aesthetic, it was just something else too, man. Just like the close head and like the neon red, like it was,
and men's suits, like it was a very severe look, and she wore it well. Like I was still attracted to her. Like she had this very androgynous look, and yet through it all, and maybe it was the talent. And maybe it was just the look, but I found her so attractive.
I have the same thing, dude. There's like The Rock. He dresses so much like a man, but for some reason, I'm still very attracted to him. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the talent or I don't know, but it's, I have this Doesn't mean anything,
It's
bro.
talent.
Doesn't mean
Definitely a
anything.
talent. Definitely a talent.
It doesn't mean anything. All right,
Remember that
Eurythmics.
You said the shaved head with the red.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
I
was
do
wearing
remember
like
that.
white gloves all the time too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
I do remember that.
striking.
She was preparing
With the Annie Lennox.
for Rona in the early '90s, bro. She had the gloves
Yeah.
on the whole time. It was great. All right, Eurythmics. All right, DeBono, what do you got for number 3?
So before I do too much of a huge lead-in, in case they're going to get tabled, I'll just go ahead and say it. My number 3 is Heart.
Oh, tabled.
Okay.
There we go. Save time on that one.
All right.
And now we know what the rest of my mountain looks like.
Yep.
All right. So Heart. Chris, what do we got for number 3?
Well, we can talk about them now. The Cranberries.
Cranberries. Yeah. Just alone what they did. When of course everybody knows Zombie, which is like that's the song that I fell in love with them for. I remember the first time I ever heard that song was on Casey Kasem's Top 40, and he, you know how Casey Kasem would do, like he would set up the fucking song and he'll set up the band, whatever, and he set up this letter that somebody wrote about the tanks in Ireland, rolling through Ireland and all stuff there, and it was like deep and heavy, and then he plays a song and I'm like, this is amazing. Like I remember that day. I remember the day I heard Cranberries for the first time. I was like, wow. And then you listen to their other stuff and it's just as good, you know? And like Linger, if you ever watch the movie Click, the Adam Sandler movie Click, I mean, it's heavily fucking played in that movie, but it's so good. Like, it's first of all, I can't even watch. I don't know. Have any of you tried watching that movie Click since you become a parent?
No,
I saw it once.
I didn't like it.
I've only ever seen it once.
I didn't like it when I first saw it, and then watching it as a parent, I was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie.
My heart out,
before I had kids, I loved that movie. I thought it was sad, but I loved it before I had kids. And then I had kids, and I tried watching it once, like 3 years ago, and I was like, I can't watch this. I just can't. It's brutal. Again, I knew it was brutal, but like once you have, for some reason, that shit just changes everything, and I'm like, oh, this is awful. But yeah, Linger's great, and again. So I don't know their vast library because they have a huge amount of hits. Going through the Wikipedia, I could tell you off the bat that I know Linger, Zombie, and Ode to My Family. That's it. Those are the ones that I know, and I think those 3 were so good that that's what made them my number 4. I was like, I don't need them to have 80,000 hits because those 3 hits on their own stand to me. They stand alone. They stand. You know, it's enough to put them on my number 4. So that's what I have. So
my decision was based off 2 songs. That's it.
The album that had Zombie and Linger on it was called Everybody Else Is Doing It, Why Can't We? And it was actually the first CD that I owned. Like the Christmas when I got a boombox that had a CD player in it, I got that Cranberries CD with it.
Nice.
Dolores O'Riordan is like when you go back and you fondly remember like how hot like rock stars were in like the 90s. She's one that I think gets overshadowed a lot by, and don't say if you got them higher on your list, but like I think people fondly remember Shirley Manson, and I think that they forget how absolutely stunning Dolores O'Riordan was, and her voice was just out of this world. She made the Cranberries. Like you go back and you listen to those songs, and musically they're put together well, but the music isn't anything that's going to like blow you away. Like they weren't doing anything that was just beyond the reach of a lot of other bands, but her fronting that band is what made the Cranberries incredible.
I agree, man. I agree.
They were the last band that I cut on my final list.
There was a remake of Zombie done by a band like 2 years ago, and it was bonkers amazing. It was a harder edge. And it was so, I don't know the name. I have it downloaded on my phone, but since I'm using my phone to record,
it was by Bad Wolves.
Yeah, Okay, sure.
Bad Wolves did that cover. I think you're talking
And
about.
it's so fucking good. And I was like, oh my! And it's different enough from the original that makes it its own. Obviously, it has like same, but that song is so good, man. It's fucking so good. I mean, and no matter who sings it, but the Cranberries, of course. The fact that I can remember the first time I ever heard that song, I think that was a big deal for me. All right, that's Chris's number 3. My number 3 was my number 2 while making this list, and then rethinking it, and I'm sure it might get tabled, but my number 3 is No Doubt.
Table.
All
right. Nice.
No Doubt's making it.
Nice. All right, so we have let me see here. We have for number 3, we have the Eurythmics, Heart, Cranberries, and No Doubt.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
All right, number 2, Dave, what you got?
My number 2, and we can talk about this now, Debona, is Heart.
Yes.
Heart.
So, I mean, what can you say about Heart's music that hasn't already been said and resaid over and over and over again? So what I will say is I saw Ann Wilson. It was her solo act a couple years ago. She wasn't touring with Nancy. She had her own band with her, and she fucking rocked my world, man. She was not the main draw for me at that show. At least not the reason why I bought tickets. I really went to go see Jeff Beck, and she was the opening act. After her was Paul Rogers. So I mean, we're talking about, this was like the monsters of fucking rock, right?
Yeah.
And she easily blew Paul Rogers out of the water. And like, I'm a huge Bad Company fan. I'm a huge Free fan. And like, she just like wowed me. Like, just, I only because I didn't expect her to sound as good as she did back in the 70s and back in the 80s. I first got turned on to them, believe it or not, with a movie that I know Neri loves called If Looks Could Kill. And they had a number of songs on the soundtrack. And before I even saw the movie, my parents had a hi-fi system that in the cabinet they had, you know, all sorts of records and cassettes. and one of the cassettes that they had was that Heart album, If Looks Could Kill. And so I remember putting it on for the first time and hearing that first song, that first track, If Looks Could Kill. And I was like, oh my God, like this is music. This is what fucking life is about. And then obviously going and discovering all of their incredible hits. Magic Man, you know, just fucking melts your face, that guitar solo.
Oh,
you know?
God, so good.
But there are very few things, I think, that match listening to Ann Wilson singing alone, live. That song is just, I mean, number one, it's one of the most like heartbreaking songs and yet emotional songs out there, and to hear her sing it and it sound just like it sounded back in, like, you know, 1981 or 82, whenever it first came out. To me, that was like one of those like light bulb moments where it snapped, and I was like, oh my God, Ann Wilson is one of my favorite singers, and I never even knew it.
VH1 rated them number 57 on the 100 greatest artists of hard rock.
Alone was on Bad Animals, actually, which was late 80s. But Alone is like my number one song on things that I will belt in my car by myself. And simultaneously, no one should ever attempt to sing this karaoke. I think we should go places karaoke. Alone should be on a list with with the Whitney Houston song from The Bodyguard. The name just completely escaped me all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
But those two
I Would
songs
Always Love You.
Thank you. It's another hard one.
No, I'm telling you.
Bodyguard.
I'm telling you. I
know. But those two songs should be on a list of songs that you were just not allowed to karaoke unless you have already done other songs and proven that you could do them. Right. Alone is one of the best like ballad rock songs ever written, ever performed. I love Heart so much. And you know, it's funny because as much as you love Ann Wilson, Nancy Wilson, man, she's what sold me on Heart, man. Like just listening to a girl just shred on guitar, just absolutely incredible. What's really funny is if you go back and you watch a lot of those Heart videos, it'll always be Nancy Wilson front and center playing guitar, and Ann Wilson's like always kind of out of focus or like slightly behind something. Like they were like, no, we get it. Like you're the talent, but Nancy's who people want to see in music videos. Right.
They have had a lot of members. A lot.
Yeah. Nancy Wilson wasn't. Ann Wilson is the only member of Heart that has been in Heart the entire time Heart has existed since 1973.
And let me tell you let me tell you how many members they've had. There is a chart on Wikipedia dedicated to all the members and how long each member has been was with the band. And
that line across the top is just Ann Wilson because she's always been in there. Nancy Wilson even dropped out for a little bit, but just an absolutely incredible band. I mean, so many amazing hits. I mean, you didn't even talk about Crazy on You.
No, or Barracuda.
Or Barracuda.
Oh,
exactly.
Crazy on You is so good, dude.
There you go. That's
so good. I know it because Eminem did a fucking he sampled it. It's so good. Legit. Chris, you don't remember the Crazy on You song by Eminem? He sampled. That's why I was like, yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how it goes.
One of my favorite Heart moments actually just happened like in the past couple years. So my whole life listening to the song Magic Man, I always thought that in the chorus she said, "Come on, homegirl," like it was one word, like you would refer to somebody like homegirl.
For real?
It was only like in the past 5 years that I was like, oh my God, she's saying "come on home, girl." Like there's a comma in there. My whole life, I always was like, oh, homegirl. All right. It was very, very recent that I had that realization. But man, this is just a band that like I said, just Nancy Taylor could shred. Ann Taylor's voice is, I mean, just if we were just doing female vocalists and they didn't have to be backed by a band, I would probably still be talking about Ann Wilson specifically.
My 1 and 2 probably wouldn't change.
Yeah, because I mean, she's just absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, a list of hits as long as your arm. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've been big all over the world. I have unfortunately never had a chance to see Heart live, but man, yeah, like those 4 songs we mentioned plus so many more. Just great band, man.
I would love to see Ann and Nancy together because Nancy was not with her. She had another guitar player who was just.
What about Love? God, we didn't even.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's another one.
Don't you want someone to care about you?
Dude, Heart is like the number one, like, grown ass man. I'm in the car by myself. Like, I'm going to listen to some Heart and I'm a fucking fan.
Dude, I don't know if you guys noticed, but on Facebook, when we asked the question, Mercadal put probably easily 7 or 8 different Heart, like, links to the YouTube Heart videos. Just one after the other, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, is that a band?
Dude, I'm telling you, go watch them. And it's always Nancy Wilson front and center.
I was watching them before we started recording. And I quoted one of the lines to Mercadal. It's on the Facebook thing, and I was like, oh my God, clutch my pearls. It was like, oh my god, something along the, I forget the exact quote, but something along the lines of every time every time I saw you, you made me feel like a woman, or you made the woman in me come out, or some shit like that. And I was like, oh, whew, it's getting hot in here. Oh my goodness, good God.
Yeah. Art was a band that got rock and roll, man. They just and not just like poppy rock. Just they understood
it was
everything
heavy
that
hitting,
went
man.
into rock and roll. Yes,
it's fucking heavy stuff. And even in a time when you didn't have like overly distorted guitars, you know, they were just, you know, just the right amount of saturation to these guitars. They being Nancy happened to like have a guitar tone that sat fucking heavy and thick. And I mean, I always go back to Magic Man, right? Like that guitar solo in Magic Man, to me, just like she fucking shreds so awesome. That oh my god,
that's
fucking
it.
sick. That was one
that's
of,
the song.
that was
right there.
That's the one. That was one of the.
That's it. That was it.
That was one of the. That was one of the first licks that I decided I wanted to learn when I got decent enough at guitar to play like real music. I was like, I want to learn that. I want to fucking learn that.
When back when I played bass, I would use Magic Man too, because the bass line in that it's like it's just enough, like when you're learning, that it's like it's heavy enough that you can listen to it and learn to play along.
It's on that low E, the ball.
Yeah.
There it is, right there. That's it. All right, so we have Hart. The Bono, what do we got for your number 2?
My number 2, maybe we could talk about him now, is No Doubt.
No Doubt. Yeah.
Nope, still stabled. All right.
All right. Chris, number 2?
My number 2 is probably a genre that I listen to the most nowadays. And it's the band Perry. They're a country band.
I didn't even think about the band Perry. That's a good ass pick.
Now, is the band's name Perry, or is the band's name the band Perry?
No, it's the band Perry. It's
like
it's 3 siblings. It's Kimberly, Reed, and Neil Perry.
You didn't answer my question. So is it named the band Perry, or is it just Perry?
Yeah, the band Perry. The band Perry.
All right.
Please write it down before this becomes a Who's On First.
I know. I literally, because I had already written, I had already written Perry, and then you were like, the band. I was like, all right, Perry, comma, the band. That's how I'm writing it. I never heard of them.
Yeah, they have a song, If I Die Young.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
no. No, I did the same. You said If I Die Young, right? And I was just saying you better dig too.
Yeah, that's what I got to go into. Yeah, that line's awesome.
How does the bass go in that one?
So wrong guy.
That's it.
I know there's like a pitum in it, but that's basically where.
I never heard of them. Are they a country band, I'm assuming?
Country, yeah.
All right.
Country.
All right, I'll check them out.
She sings, and then the siblings do their stuff. Yeah, I mean, really, really, she's got a great voice. And it's country, so there's always a story to it.
And she's gorgeous. And absolutely is the only one in that gene pool that got any looks, because her brothers are not even kind of attractive. But Kimberly Perry is gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's like the Hemsworths. All right, so
like the Hemsworth.
There's like one of them. That's
wow! Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's number 2. My number 2. This is such a difficult choice for me. But my number 2, I'm really surprised that I'm gonna be the only one that didn't have this, because we already know this is the case. Hold on, give me a second. But my number 2 is the one and only Miami Sound Machine.
Okay.
Honorable mention for me.
It's a homer
Honorable
pick.
mention for me.
And I don't give a fuck. Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Stefan's Uprising. She is the shit.
I didn't even think about this.
Yeah, well, that's because you hate, Hispanics. Miami Sound Machine.
Fair enough.
Miami Sound Machine, dude. I can only tell you like 2 or 3 of their songs, but it's fucking great, and that's all you need to know. I don't give a fuck, and it's a strict. I think it's a homer pick. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's a homer pick because they're like genuinely well loved, even not in Miami.
They had a lot. They had a good amount of mainstream success, though. Like it's not like when you picked Dream Boy, Dream Girl, like Miami Sound Machine.
Cable. We'll get to that later, sir. We'll get to that later. But right now, we're talking about Miami Sound Machine.
I mean, rhythm is gonna get you. Like that blew up all over, right?
I mean, that song by itself, that's enough.
Yeah, they were originally known as the Miami Latin Boys, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah, man, they again. Looking at their list of songs, the Congo. First of all, the Congo, right? Congo.
Yeah, the Congo. Yep.
Congo.
Yeah.
That right there. When you make it to the fact that it gets played at every wedding and every cruise ship, I think you've made some kind of success. Whether or not that's the success you were looking for, that's a different story. But the fact is, that's a huge amount of success.
Dude, I play Conga at every elementary school dance. Every single one.
There's that one. There's the chicken dance. There's the chicken dance. The hokey pokey.
Do that one too.
That's fantastic.
Bro, what? 1, 2, 3.
But that song, whenever you hear it, what you think is Miami? Like,
yeah.
Maybe just us. What do you think? What do you think, DeBono, when you play that song? Do you think of Miami, or does it even come up? Does it even register? Because we're from Miami, so that's what we think about.
Like, right. I mean, I know that. Honestly, I just think of Gloria Estefan. I don't even necessarily. I know that those are Miami Sound Machine songs, but in my head they're just Gloria Estefan songs. It's just and so. I'm fully aware that they're a whole band, and it's a great pick. But no, I don't necessarily think Miami, unless I think about the name of the band. I guess I think South Florida.
This is how Miami they are. Their original drummer was named Kiki.
Everyone had an Uncle Kiki.
Kiki Garcia. So everybody, it's fantastic. Yeah, man, they have a shitload of songs. So go check them out. I'm not gonna do them any justice by trying to sing them, but we all know them. Again, it might be a homer pick. I don't know if it is. It's kind of one of those things. I've said this many times before. When Pitbull first started coming up in music, and it was just local, and then he blew up all over. I remember saying to myself, I love Pitbull's music, but I honestly don't know if I like his music because I like his music, or if it's just because he's also from Miami. And I've said that to this day, I don't know. I can't answer that. I've asked myself that question many times. I don't know. It's all melted together now, so I don't know if I could separate the fact that he's from Miami or not. So
when we get to honorable mentions, I've got a band that's the exact same thing. So.
Okay. All right. So our number ones were Heart, No Doubt, the band Perry, and Miami Sound Machine.
Round.
Our number 2.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yes, number 2s. Let me write this down. 56 minutes. Cut. All right.
The band Perry.
But I did say that.
Wait, before you hit that button, you got to do honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. What do we got for honorable mentions? Are you on the Facebooks, Dave?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So Mike Mercadal says, "Oh, bro, hell yeah." Number 4, Fleetwood Mac. Number 3, Blondie. Great fucking pick. Number 2, Eurythmics. Number 1, Heart. Honorable mentions to the Cranberries, No Doubt, and Veruca Salt. Then we've got Q says Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Garbage, No Doubt, and Florence and the Machine. Honorable mentions to the Cranberries, Yeah, Yeah, Yeahs, Fleetwood Mac with Stevie Nicks. Jemiah Leonard says No Doubt, Evanescence, Blondie, and Lisa Cult Jam. Nice. Honorable mentions to the Bangles and the Runaways. V. Thompson says Jefferson Airplane, Yeah, Yeah, Yeahs, Garbage, Janis Joplin. Honorable mentions to No Doubt, Florence and the Machine, Evanescence, Paramore, Fleetwood Mac, and Cranberries. Daniel Converse says Fleetwood Mac, Heart, no doubt, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Josh Snyder says Sleater Kinney. Just had to go ahead and put them in my top bands of all time. I don't know them.
Oh yeah, they're like super like guys that are into indie rock like worship at the altar of Sleater Kinney.
Oh, Sleater Kinney. Okay, it looks like Sleater Kinney here. Okay,
yeah.
Bikini Kill, Sloth Rust, and Garbage. I know only Garbage on this list. So it looks like I've got to.
I love that Bikini Kill pick so much.
Bone up on these things. The Slits honorable mentions are the Slits, Baruch Assault, Excuse 17, and Fiona Apple. Oh, Fiona Apple, great pick. Karina Knapp.
I didn't know she was a band. I didn't know she was a band. I thought it was she was a solo singer.
No, it's not a band. It's not a band, but it's I like Fiona Apple. Karina Knapp says Hailstorm, great pick. Hailstorm's a great pick. Evanescence, The Pretty Reckless, and Stitched Up Heart.
Oh, The Pretty Reckless. I didn't even think about them. They're so newer.
Yeah, I considered putting them and then moved right along. Alexa Castellanos says all of the above plus the Pretenders. Oh fuck, the Pretenders! I didn't even consider the Pretenders. Shit. Hole. All right. And of course, Susie and the Banshees. Old school honorable mention to the Go-Go's and Miami Sound Machine.
I got you, bro. I got you. All right. Is that it? That's all we got?
That's all we got.
All right. What do we got for honorable mentions, fellas?
Dave,
you said mine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go then. The Runaways didn't make my list. It was like I was choosing between putting the Donnas and the Runaways, and I ended up putting the Donnas because I truthfully listen to them more than I do the Runaways. But I do absolutely love the Runaways, and they gave us like three of the greatest hard rock women of all time. Yeah. So the Alabama Shakes for something a little newer in there. Paramore for something a little more metal. Jefferson Airplane and the Bangles for some old school stuff there. And the band that I thought you were going to say, Neri, when you said the Cranberries, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't consider this band. Fugees. I fucking love the Fugees.
I do like the Fugees, and I didn't put them on there because I wasn't completely sold on them being a band or if they were a rap group.
That's why I didn't pick them.
So, but the argument could be made for either one of them, and I'm okay with you. Yeah. I'm okay with them being called a band, but they didn't immediately. I thought of them, but they didn't immediately. I didn't think band when I thought of them. I thought.
I think.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think if you've got Wyclef Jean writing the music for you. You're instantly like that should get you in. But I mean, didn't make my mountain. Didn't think about it. So
the Bono. What do you got?
Basically, all of mine have been said. The one you were talking about, Pitbull. You don't know. I'm like that with the Alabama Shakes. Like they're from right here. I've met them all. I've emceed shows that they've played at. I'm not a huge Shakes fan, but like I like them a lot. Brittany is incredible. She's very, very wonderful woman. Oh yeah, it just don't really make music for me. Basically, everybody else has been said except for a metal band called In This Moment. Lead singer named Maria Brink. They are a great metal band. Just barely didn't make my list. I like In This Moment a lot. Basically everybody else has been said, and like David said with the Runaways, I mean, it's you get Lita Ford out of that too, and Joan Jett. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Yeah, when you were talking about the Donnas, I was like, I'm not going to say the Runaways in case anybody else has got them, but yeah. So, like I said, the only one I can really add is In This Moment.
All right. Baby Metal. Just want to throw that out there for good. Yeah, Baby Metal's fucking awesome.
Okay. What do you got, Chris, for honorable mentions?
My honorable was Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
My honorable mention, there was two of them. One of them was mentioned was the Bengals, and then the other one was Bananarama. And I almost put Bananarama in there if it wasn't for the fact that Cranberries had 3 amazing songs that I loved, and Cranberries has like 12 amazing songs. It's Cruel Summer Extended, Cruel Summer Trance edit. They had Cruel Summer. Honest to God, if you go to Apple Music and you put in Bananarama, they say that they have 12 top songs. 6 of them are Bananarama and some kind of variation of Bananarama. And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and
the rest are just remixes of Venus.
Yeah. It's Bananarama, Venus, and that, and then everything else is a remix of that. Like, it's just, it was hilarious to me. And I was like, oh, there's one of them, they have a song called Robert De Niro, Waiting for Robert De Niro, or some shit like that. And I was like, what? And then I heard it, I was like, this is not good. But Bananarama is my honorable mention. All right.
Round 1. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Come on!
All right. So, Dave, number 1.
All right. Well, my number 1, it was tabled a while ago, Fleetwood Mac. To me, even though I think that Ann Wilson from Heart might have the more technically proficient voice, she's got this incredible range. There is something about Stevie Nicks that just gets into your bones and just moves you. And if I had to put Heart and Fleetwood Mac up against each other, which I would hate to do, I think Fleetwood Mac as the whole package would win out. Everything that they've ever done, I fucking love. Going back to the pre-Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks days, going to the last stuff that they did in the early 90s. To me, it's amazing. And even Tusk, which is maybe their least critically acclaimed album, to me is like a work of fucking art.
To the listener, there was a stutter there, and that was not any connectivity issues. David literally just got stuck. He just got stuck talking, and we were all like, what's happening? Did he freeze? And he's like, no, I got it. Hold on, it's coming.
No, I'm so rarely at a loss for words, and that's what Stevie Nicks does for me. You know, there's no way to really describe her except for the way, the moniker that she's been given of the White Witch. You know, that's what she is. She's so she bewitches you. You watch her perform on stage, and I've never seen it live, but I've seen video of it. And even as she was getting older, and she was losing that youth physically, she wasn't losing any of it in her voice. She wasn't losing any of it in the performance. I think that she is a major game changer. When it comes to female rock singers, there's Janis Joplin, then there's Stevie Nicks, and I don't think anyone has really changed the game since her. No one has picked up where she left off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fleetwood Mac, number 1.
Yeah, man. I still listen to Rhiannon and just get lost in the magic of her voice. And that's what it is. It's fucking magic. And she doesn't even need Lindsey Buckingham writing the music for it, you know? Because so often he gets credited for being the true musical genius of Fleetwood Mac, and there is some credence to that. But you listen to the stuff that she did on her own as well, and it's like The Edge of 17. is probably my favorite song of hers. And I can listen to that song on fucking repeat. You know, there's a magic. And I think that's why that name of the White Witch fits her so well.
Because she's white.
There's something about Fleetwood Mac that you're right. It's undeniable, because even you'll meet people who say they don't like Fleetwood Mac, but then if you're listening to it, they're into it, because there's something about listening to Stevie Nicks sing that's just undeniably amazing. It's like you said. I mean, White Witch title earned, not given. I mean, it's enchanting to listen to Stevie Nicks sing. I didn't put Fleetwood Mac on my list because I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I like them. I like the singles, but that's all. You know, I can talk to Chain and Landslide and stuff like that. But they're just never a band that I've really just sat around and listened to entire albums. But there's something very special about listening to Stevie Nicks sing.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for your number one, DeBona?
My number one did get mentioned in some other people online lists, but nobody else's. My number one, musically, talent-wise, is not the best band on my list, but the band that means the absolute most to me out of all of these bands on my list, and when it comes to bands with female lead singers, is Blondie.
Fuck yes.
Debbie Harry is just a force of nature. And not just musically, but just everything about her. Parallel Lines, which was their first major American hit record, that's the one that's got Heart of Glass and Call Me in one way or another on it. Those are all on Parallel Lines. But it's also got Hanging on the Telephone, which is a Nerves cover that's incredible. But so much of the music that they did was so good. And people love to go back and try to find the first band who did this and the first band who did that. And people love to be like, oh, well, oh my God, Run DMC crossover with Aerosmith. That was such a huge deal. And it's like, bro, Blondie did that with Rapture. This wasn't anything that was even new at that point. It's just the one that people want to talk about. But Rapture, Ex-Offender, Union City Blue, just all of these amazing songs from the late 70s before Parallel Lines was released in the late 70s too. But just so many songs that they did that aren't the ones that people know, but that are just absolutely incredible. And Debbie Harry was not only just the lead singer of this amazing band, but she was a punk rock icon. Outside of just Blondie's music, she was huge in that scene, and she did so much for people in that New York punk scene. And to put strong females on the map, she has a bit part. There's a movie called Downtown 81 that actually stars Jean-Michel Basquiat. And she has a part in that, and she's incredible in it. Just Debbie Harry went so far above and beyond just being a lead singer that she is just a powerhouse in music. And but like I said, One Way or Another and Call Me, these are songs that everybody knows that are just incredible songs. And I feel like Blondie's a band that's very easily forgotten by a lot of people, and they really shouldn't be because they've just done so much and are so good at it. They released music until very recently, and they may still be touring for all I know. But I know that they've released some music since maybe early teens, I want to say, is when Ghost of Download came out. And it was still great. And she can still hit all the notes, and she's still a presence to be reckoned with on stage. She reminds me a lot of how you might not think that Stone Temple Pilots is one of the best bands ever, but you can't deny the fact that Scott Weiland was one of, if not the best frontman ever. Debbie Harry is like that. You might not think that Blondie is one of the best bands ever, or even one of the best female-led bands ever. But Debbie Harry is without a doubt one of, if not the number one female front people, lead women in music, and she's just incredible. Also, just still very good looking for however old that
absolutely
is.
Stunning.
She is still gorgeous.
Can we just talk about their talent and not their looks, guys? Can we just, can we just focus on their talent? What makes them great as artists? Please, guys.
You know what I think it is that I think that Blondie gets lumped in with another band that, to me, they don't sound alike, but they have a similar quality, which is they're weird. Which is David Byrne's band, the Talking Heads.
The Talking Heads,
right? Talking Heads is another band that, like, you don't hear people talk about them a lot. You know, they're kind of talked about as, you know, like art rock, you know, and that's kind of what I think of Blondie. Like, it's art rock. Like, it's more than just music, you know, and it's very easy to just brush it off as just a novelty thing. But the influence that they had on like the indie music scene of today is, you can't measure that.
Yeah,
I was really surprised. Like, when you're talking about her acting career, I was surprised you didn't mention this. She had like a major role in what is probably my favorite David Cronenberg movie, Videodrome.
Yeah. But that's exactly why I ended up putting him at number one, because when it's just because, like I said, just she was so much, and they did so much for music in general that, I mean, Nancy Wilson, better guitarist than the guitarist for Blondie. Yeah, no problem. But it's just, when it comes to just when we're looking specifically at the woman up front, Debbie Harry embodies that for me. So I had to put Blondie at number one.
I mean, so much so that people think she is Blondie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they think Blondie is just Debbie Harry, like not a whole band.
Yeah.
Right on. Chris, what do you got for number one?
My number one is a band that I would put on a list of my favorite bands. Like, not just favorite female-led bands. And it's No Doubt.
Hell yeah, man.
No, that was the first, like, not the scam that we did with Columbia House. That was the first CD I actually paid money to purchase.
Tragic Kingdom?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a great album.
I love that album.
So good.
I mean, everything. I would, walk around listening or singing Spiderweb, like a 13-year-old girl. And it was awesome. It's just such a great song. Like, it's poppy, it's fun. Like, it's great. It's just one of those songs where you listen to it and you get happy, even though what they're saying is
tragic.
It's not really. Yeah, tragic, I guess.
Well, and I mean, I had him at number two. I love this pick. One of my favorite things about No Doubt is the fact that they weren't like, okay, this is the kind of band we are, so this is the only kind of music they were going to release. Like, they would go to make an album and be like, I don't know, what are you feeling? Like, yeah, Tragic Kingdom was great. It had a feel. Then Return of Saturn came out and it was like, whoa, okay, it's still great music. It's just different. And then Rocksteady came out, and I know a lot of people didn't like Rocksteady. I thought Rocksteady was so much fun.
I didn't like it at the time. And you look back on it and you're like, okay, I can get it. You see the thing is that, like you're saying, you see the progression.
Yeah.
And how they just, okay, that's what we want to do now, and that's where we're going to go. And I love that.
And they're one of those bands that was never afraid to just make the album they wanted to make.
Right.
Like, they weren't out to just make the same album with different lyrics. This is what they were feeling. So this is the album they made. Cause I remember when Ex-Girlfriend first came out, and I saw it on TRL, and I was like, this isn't my No Doubt. Like, this is weird. but then I was like, well, still, so I went and picked up Return of Saturn, and I was like, okay, no, it's different, but it's still really cool. Gwen Stefani, man, I remember when that video for Just a Girl came out, and it was just and it was just her in like the crop top and the track pants, and she's like doing push-ups and crowd surfing and stuff like that. I saw them on tour with Bush when that was still her.
Oh man, what
that's a great
show.
band!
Oh, wow.
That's a great band.
And that was still her aesthetic. Was the Just a Girl, Gwen Stefani.
Right.
fell in love, man. I was like, oh, this broad is nuts. Like it was, and she was crowd surfing and she was putting on a show like, just like some of the best that I'd ever seen. And then for them to still keep up that energy as they continued to change. And, Gwen Stefani's gone on to do other things and honestly still doesn't seem to much care like what you think about what she does.
Yeah.
She's going to
do it. She has a country song now.
Yeah. And she's a ridiculously successful, not only in music, but in on TV and in fashion with what's it called? Harajuku Lover is her line. And, she's just, Gwen Stefani. Yeah. She's one, man. Like I said, it was a game changer. Like seeing her in just a girl phase and hearing a band with that weird kind of like ska. There was almost like a ska element involved. Yeah. And they were doing so much that they were blending so many different things. It's like they're not a punk band, they're not a ska band, they're not a rock band, and they always just stuck to that. And I respected the hell out of that forever. And I love No Doubt. Like I said, they were my number 2, dude. It's a great pick.
I love that they weren't a punk, like you said, they're not a punk band, they're No Doubt. That's who they are.
Yeah.
That's it. They're their own thing, which I love. And you can listen to that album, especially Tragic Kingdom, like front to back. There are no bad songs. I love that entire album. It's awesome.
And and one of the things about that band too is like when Tragic Kingdom starts to blow up and Spiderwebs is going places, then Don't Speak comes. Right. And then it just explodes and everybody knows who No Doubt is. And it's like to be Tony Kanal and be like, man, I have to go on stage every night and play this song where my ex-girlfriend is thinking about breaking up with me. Like, it's just like
that's crazy.
To love what you do so much that you can just put that aside and be like, all right, well, yeah, it is what it is.
I'm sure the checks helped dry his tears. I'm sure. This is hard, guys. I don't want to hear this song again. What's that? Million? Another million? Okay, it's fine. Yeah, let's play the fucking song. Let's play the song.
You go back and you look at Tragic Kingdom, and they dropped like 4 or 5 singles off of that because Speak, Spiderweb, Sunday Morning were all huge.
Yeah.
And just such a good album. And then they've done so much. Like I said, even when Rocksteady came out, I love Hella Good. I love Bathwater. And they're so weird and they're so different. But it's just, they're a band that, No Doubt is a band that you can go to damn near any party and you can put on No Doubt and people are not going to complain.
Yeah, they're the outcast of punk rock.
There you go.
All right, good pick, man. He had it. The Bono, you had it at number 2. I had it at number 3. Chris has it at number 1. Dave hates them. All right.
That's. I said that.
Right.
You can quote me.
We're gonna go. My number 1 and the final number 1 is, look, man. You could take the kid out of Miami, but you can't take Miami out of the kid, right? So my number 1 is Lisa and the Culture Jam. I fucking love Lisa and the Culture Jam. They have 3 amazing hits that I don't give a fuck where I am. I'm listening to those fucking songs wherever shit is. I am stopping, dropping, and listening to Lisa and the Culture Jam. When those 3 songs come up, it's Full Force, Head to Toe, Lost in Emotion. Can you feel the beat? Can you feel the beat? Fuck. Come on, dude.
Can you feel the beat?
It's the Miami freestyle in me, and I don't give a fuck. It's Miami, New York freestyle. I'm not saying she's from Miami specifically. I'm sure she's either from New York or Miami. That's all freestyle ever was. But I do appreciate the fact that Wikipedia has them listed as their genre is pop, freestyle, brown-eyed R&B. No, yeah. Brown-eyed soul. Like, all right.
Brown-eyed soul.
Never fucking heard of that genre in my fucking life.
Never heard of that.
But it's on Wikipedia, so it must be true. Get the fuck out, blue eyes, green eyes. Kick the rocks, green eyes. This is brown-eyed soul over here. Anyways, I love Lisa the Culture Jam. She has those 3-4 hits that I could just listen to any day, at any time, and a million times a day. And that's why she's my number one. So that's why they are my number one. All right, so
a subgenre of soul music performed mainly by Latinos in Southern Cal.
That is racist as shit. All right.
Yep, that's definitely racist.
That's fucking super racist. Holy shit. Brown-eyed soul.
Hold on. Here you go. Here's why. This contrasts what's referred to as blue-eyed soul, which is soul music performed by non-Hispanic white artists.
See, there's a racism. You see, that's literally racism. It's like the definition. It also there's a hyperlink that leads to the word racism and the definition of racism. Jesus Christ, guys! All right, so we have No Doubt definitely made it, right?
Yep.
And then we have the Cranberries, right?
Fleetwood Mac and Heart.
Fleetwood.
I think so. Those were the 4 tables.
Fleetwood Mac and Heart. All right, so we have No Doubt, Cranberries, Fleetwood Mac, and Heart. Did anybody get a Perfect Mountain?
Nope.
No. I didn't. No.
I got 2 out of 4.
Solid list, though.
I got 2 out of 4.
It's a good list, man. That's the thing. There was like we said at the end of number 4s, man. There was no way that this episode was going to end, and I was going to be upset with the mountain. It is great. This one was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a great mountain. So the final mountain is No Doubt, the Cranberries, Fleetwood Mac, and Heart. I am going to go check out a lot of these I've never heard before. So like the Donnas and stuff, I've never heard of them. So I'm going to go check these out. I hope I hope you guys do the same. Make sure you guys check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network. Geek Bro now has merchandise, not just t-shirts, but there's t-shirts, there's phone cases, there's pillows, there's a bunch of other shit, sweaters and tank tops, and DeBona's into tank tops now, so he's going to be getting a bunch of those. And there's a bunch of shit.
It's on its way right now. The first one I got was a baseball tee, and I got a tank top on the way.
There you go. So there's hats. I don't even know there's hats, but there's a bunch of other shit. So make sure you guys check out. Go to tpublic.com/geekbro, and you can have merchandise there from other podcasts, not just the Mt.Geekmore podcast, but also What's Up Bro, merchandise with the Geek Bro logo, as well as What You Got, which is Daniel DeBona's podcast, which could also be found on YouTube and geekbro.net. Make sure you check out Better Let Me Tell You and Mamas de Merlot, as well as The Layer. That's all at geekbro.net. You guys have been fantastic. Check out DeBona on his other podcast. Chris, thank you very much for coming in, stopping by, helping us out. Dave, thank you very much. And check out my comedy at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com. If you are not following me yet on Instagram, follow me and comment on something and say follow me back, and I'll follow you back. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. You guys have been great. That's how lists are made.